It's Wednesday. It's March 8th, 2022. I went out for a run earlier, um, and there were two codes on the Fitbit today. One I'd seen before, one that was brand new. Not really clear what that was on. I know who was there. Um, so I'm just keeping an eye on that. The second code happened as I was running on my way back to the residence. This new code that was on there. Um, I um, I found this piece about. Well, I was just thinking about calcium in my diet. I had a conversation with one of the people down at the lake. Um, to and so I went and I bought a mineral supplement at the store. Anyhow, it seems so far. Again, I don't know, placebo effect, whatever, but I know in like metabolite and electrolytes, it's incredibly important. Um, I've read that in the Princeton manual. It didn't dawn on me though. Like, I don't know depletion effects. I don't know, again, those like intricate mechanics are where like I really could have used like a Dumbledore or whatever to offset some of these, like leading to these logical conclusions. Anyhow, um, so I'm in a Harry Potter construct. So this morning I started off with I was invited to a I was invited to an online Zoom Bible study. So I attended it with some of the parishioners that I've seen face to face. So at least I have some whatever. Um, and they went over a passage in Romans. It had sacred geometry in it, as far as I could tell numerically. Um, Not necessarily the passages themselves, although if I sat and I pondered on it, I might find the answer to that. But in like in a Harry Potter way, in like a Tom Riddle kind of a way. Anyhow, so I am so I was sitting there, and my answers were really clear. I'm not really my whole life. I've not had to like really go this far into like noetic science, or I just discovered that, or these like, not to give it a three-letter association, but into like more the physics and the physique. I haven't really had to go this deep into being able to explain things, but um, um, epithet being whatever it is at the moment, and journaling one's own experience for preserving one's own credit or thine credit. Um, so I was there was the Romans passage, and then there was another passage. I think it was John. I don't remember. I'd have to ask. Again, I'm not really versed in this version of the Bible. It was more of like a work through the mother of the church was there, or the congregation. Again, I like the construct of the words that are acceptable. I'm not really. I don't want to. It was the hierarchy in the moment that I'm in when I'm in that building. Not to be confused, because again, there's something I think called arbitrage or espionage, and like I am not tussling with animals at higher and deeper than where I am. It's just it frightens me all on its own, whatever. So I had a conversation with a small group this morning in Bible study, to where I was at after we read the passage. spoke very minimally about, like, there's this at this festival, there's this mat, and there's this person who wanted to um, enter this whatever in order to heal. So, of course, so throughout my course, I listened to their human interpretation because, again, I understand that humans are at all different levels. And they took it from a very rudimentary, very like dust on your feet. And one person brought up homeless people in the subways. I get it. That's where most of the conversation is at. Um, because of where I'm at and what I am now in some process of defending, just seems so ridiculous, um, is what if that mat in like a virtual reality world was like, I said at one level, I was like, personal space would be a good construct for that mat possibility, um, and how a homeless person might think of it, to get in a like astroplaning kind of a way. But anyhow, so in order to separate time and space, I'm like, what if that mat was like the environment, and then it had some interactive feature with a human standing on it? The character would be one set of programs. The mat would be technically another set of programs if we were coding a video game per se. I was like, not that I do. I've never touched technology like that before, ever, but I know it exists. And I know that there's a profession where there are gamers and such things that they do all these creations with. Um, Again, I don't know how shadow boxing works, but whatever, in the avatar and virtual reality realm. So I'm like, so theoretically, if there's this mat and then there's this character and they're separate entities, but there's some interactive feature in a science way, and if the mat portion was whatever. But again, I was just showing the circle of health and wellness and possibility in a that's one level of way of looking at something, because we were really talking about the passage itself and where the human mind, and like, and I was listening for where their level of human mind was going and how they associate it with it, how they interpret it, how they digest it, just in like a witness kind of a way. And then they therefore are my witness in, I have, again, I got the superposition between the here and the now and time and space, and the future being the very symmetrical clock system. And biology is technically a clock system inside the construct of the world that I entered in 1978. Um, so there is this interactive feature that goes on. So anyhow, so I brought that up, and they understood me. They understood the words that I used. They had never thought of it, I suppose, that way. Not that they said those words, but they intimated through their actions. Um, they are more of, I guess, I mean, it would be a big assumption on my part. It appears that they're more of the books and paper and going to the church for social activity and in keeping with one's own whatever, um civic, I suppose. Is that civics? I don't even really know. So there's that. um but there's this divide in the way that I speak, the way that I look at things. And I even said, I'm like, listen, I said, I've had a lot of time alone to think on these things, to really think and put myself. And I said, and again, like that really explains when I explain it like a video game and a mat underneath and a separation of character. I said it's this astroplaning type of a way of looking at something. Um, I don't expect people to look at it necessarily that way from the get go. I just I've had interactive features that have just been different, and I've had a health journey that's totally different. And then I've got this way of whatever um, in things that have malfunctioned and have really hurt me. Um, for me, whatever that personal mat is at the bottom that has some energy feature that interacts with the human, that helps the human either stand in total uprightness, um, or in some form of whatever. Again, part of it is biological, part of it is this magical make believe piece that physics works off of. So I just noticing how harmful some of the environment I've walked through. And then to have to further define now that there's this virtual reality world, are we talking my personal space on the mat, or are we talking about beyond the boundaries of my personal space on the mat and what other characters in that but my point of view is able to see and look at? Are we talking like that level? Like, again, it gets real technical in certain conversations with nobody in particular. Never really had to and speak to humans at that level in this sequence of events and time frame. Whatever happens in the construct of time doesn't exist, but yet your human still exists. In a, it's a superposition with an umbilicus between a special clock timing system. It's not everyone. Um, so anyhow, so I noticed that the passage that they read had my supersymmetry built into it. I didn't say it. Again, I don't need to take credit for every single piece. I don't know what they need to know, what they don't need to know. But I'm just in whatever. My numbers were in it. So that happened today. So I listened. I let them do most of the speaking. I only interjected that one little intricate piece. And again, it was on this Zoom call. So therefore, it is in this cyber kinetic way of however it quantumly entangles with my whatever. I don't quite know. Um, but um, it's there. Um, it's star 1978, star 8378. Lewis, by the way, sent Linda. He didn't send me, but he sent Linda a photo that he went to go visit whatever in Florida. He was holding an Atlantis bag in front of some big NASA insignia or some NASA symbol in Florida. He found the location of whatever it is. Apparently, it's some kind of sightseeing, whatever, in this area. I had no idea. I've never been there myself, but he has. Not stuff that was really talked about. I don't know why it was kept secret when I was young. I don't know for what purpose. Um, but the location exists. I mean, I didn't see it with my own eyes, but he got there and he took a photo in front of it. So that was interesting. Not that anybody who doesn't work, I mean, like at this level of humanity, I have no idea what people do at NASA. It wasn't like a career track that was offered or even spoken about in New York in my life frame in the schooling that I had. Um, I'm in this right now. And today on something called The View, um, there was someone that looks like, in our family, looked like one of the in-laws that married in, um, but her name is Sarah Ferguson. Apparently, she's Duchess of York. I learned that yesterday. They showed her on one television show. Today, she was on The View, and it was mentioned again. This is like the first time she was doing something with a book about Mary. Um, and so I know that's incredibly significant. But the face looks very like I've seen it before on mentions, just like Diana's face is so iconic. Princess Diana's face is so iconic. But that's all names and things. It was not a constant, repetitive. I don't know why. Especially since she's Duchess of York, and this is New York. I don't know where the disconnect, or why there was not more um, concrete connection. Again, I'm really unclear about all of this. I'm trying to sort through it and figure it out. Um, I mean, what I'm really looking for is my assigned family member and what happened. Um, I mean, nobody starts out in life saying that they want to be polygamous. I mean, like, I don't know anybody anyhow. I mean, that wasn't what I was raised as, but here we are in this degradous situation. Um, and I don't even know how to speak on it. I don't. But it doesn't mean I want to go a lifetime without holding hands. That's for sure. And Tia Frio 1975 doesn't count for anything. We don't hold hands. Never did. He's not interested in holding hands. It is just like I don't know how to shake toilet paper off my shoe. I don't. Um, it's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.